thank you. Baba Mefundis. Baba Mefundis. Baka Ibarut. Baba Mefundis. Abaruti bapi. Abafundis bapi.
Program Director, Chairperson, President of the ANC, Comrade Matamela, Deputy President, Comrade Paul Machatile, Secretary General, Comrade Matamela, First Deputy Secretary General, the chair of the
ANC Hinduism. Prayer is in Sanskrit language, language that was spoken by the people 5,000 years ago, living at the Indo-Gangetic plain at the foot of Himalayas. Om Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur-Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yodha Prachodayat. O God, thou art the giver of life, bestower of happiness, giver of rains and sun. O Creator of the universe, may thou guide our intellect in the right direction. May we receive thy supreme sin-destroying light. O omnipotent God, Asat Oma Satgamaya, lead us from unreal to real. O omnipotent God, lead us from ignorance to enlightenment. O universal God, lead us from death to immortality. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, thou art the indweller of all beings, organic and inorganic matter. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, beloved mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Today, we all have assembled here to seek the blessings of Supreme Creator to bestow upon the Honorable President of South Africa, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, and his team of rulers. Our Honorable President, as we know, is a proven astute leader, intelligent strategist, and a target achiever. It is said, for a good leader, the hope of a saint shall be the guide. In crucial times, principle of unity shall guide. In all important things, principle of diversity should guide. In all things, principles of generosity shall guide. A great everlasting virtue to build fraternal communities of brotherhood. O Lord of all Lord, shower thy divine grace upon this wonderful land and people of South Africa for health, wealth, prosperity, progressive economy, social cohesion.
In the past have done. Allah, keep guiding this beautiful organization and let this organization win the election without any collision. Oh Allah, we beg you to keep guiding the for the people of Palestine. Oh Allah, we are asking you, Allah, bless them and continue blessing them as the people of Palestine has sent us to send this message that, oh people of South Africa, we ask God to unite your hearts, and we ask Allah that He unite the hearts of the leadership, and they must stick together in whatever difficulties and situation they are going through. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Baba wethu omuhle, baba oyingcwele, yise wenkosi yethu Jesu. Entambameni enhle siletha udumo nezibongo phambi kobuso bakho. Sibonga lelanga baba osiphe lona ukuthi libe impumelelo. uNkulunkulu wethu onamandla onke. Nkosi emhlabeni wonke baba mawunyakaze wazi ukuthi seyifikile lenhlangano egameni likaJesu waseNazaretha. Baba ngibaletha kuwe leadership yonke kanye nopresident egameni likaJesu waseNazaretha. Babusise baba bengena ubabusise bephuma egameni elihle lenkosi yethu Jesu ezobonga manje kuze kube phakade. Amen.
Ntate la Jesu Kriste wa Nazaretha, modimo wa rona ya lokileng le mosiari wa kajeko, re tla wena modimo wa kganya, modimo a sa hlolweng ke lotho. Ke ena organization ya African National Congress e ile ya hlonolofatswa ke wena modimo wa ka hore e tshware South Africa kaofela. Ke ena leadership e leadwang ke president wa rona Ramaphosa. Re ba tlisa wena mosiari wa kajeko, modimo wa ka ka tsatsi lena le la sekgopuso sa tswalo, modimo wa ka ena le matla. Re bofa memoya yohle modimo lefatsheng kaofela e zamang modimo wa ka o kgala ena matla ena siabi ka lebitso la Jesu wa Nazaretha. Re wena in Jesus name, amen.
Unified in the work of our movement in African National Congress, seeking your guidance, wisdom and support as we reflect on the past accomplishments of our movement and look ahead to working together to achieve even the little right and privilege in our freedom. Father, we ask you and we ask for your intercession throughout this important session as we reflect on our strategy towards the upcoming elections, and as we look deeply into our challenges and responsibilities as this historic movement of our country and our land. Bless our conversation here today. Father God, we pray with goodwill, sincerity and truth, and help us see and understand the issues which face us as our country.
Amandla. Amandla. Awethu. Mata. Arona. Matimba. Aena. Manda. Ashu. All power to the people. Sikalile rally. Let's welcome everybody. Let's start with the hosts. The National Executive Committee of the ANC are hosting this rally today, and they have a message that will be delivered by the President. Leaders of the various provinces of the ANC, regional leaders, branch leaders, we all welcome you here. Samkela abefundisi, baruti, samkela amakhosi, inkosi, chiefs that are here. Samkela o-ambassador abakhoyo apa. Sine delegations epati ezahlukeneyo ezifikileyo apa from different countries. We welcome all of them. Sine members the media. Siyavuya uba nikhona apa members the media. Nani niyazibonela i-stadium sigcwele. Despite all the problems, siyazi bakwabantu who were stoning buses in certain areas. We know that there was a problem of security blocking entrance, but the stadium is full. All of you, the people who have decided to come here today, we can't take it for granted. We appreciate that the success of the rally depends on your attendance. Thank you very much. Now, let's ask Chairperson waseMpumalanga. Soli, sawunika nithethe apha. Kuthiwe ninike iminutes ezithile ndanongezela nge-few minutes ndanongezela. Sawucela uChairperson waseMpumalanga, Comrade Mandla Ndlovu, to welcome us in Mpumalanga. Comrade Mandla. Kaloku andithi mna ndiya-acknowledge wena uya-welcome.
Eita comrade eita. Eita comrade eita. Eita enhlazeni eita. Eita Nkangala eita. Eita Gersibande eita. Eita President Matamela eita. Eita Deputy President Paul Mashatile eita. Eita SG Fikile Mbalula eita. Eita Comrade Gwende Mantashe eita. Eita DSG Nomvula eita. Eita DSG Marupini eita. Eita Comrade Gweneta. Comrades umgameli wethu ubaba Ramaphosa namalunga wonke we-ANC bakhona la. Siyanibingelela siphinda sindamukela lapha eMpumalanga province. UComrade Soli Mapaila, Comrade Singizwa Losi, Comrade Richard Mkungo, leadership yethu ye alliance, presidents of the leagues of the ANC, Comrade Colin Malachi, Comrade Sisisi, Comrade Sinuki Abafundisi, President of Contralesa, Marcus Sophie Brain, the Premier of the province, and all leaders of our movement, leadership of MKLWV, we want to welcome you today here in Mpumalanga province. Comrade Chairperson of Limpopo, ukhona la. Limpopo, are you here? Comrade Upanyaza, Nasi Span is here. Gauteng, are you here? Comrade No, the chairperson of the ANC in the Northwest, is here. Northwest, are you here? Comrades, all the chairpersons of our beautiful provinces are here. Comrade Duma, Comrade Dukwana, Comrade Dr. Zamani, Comrade Mabuyana, Comrade JJ, they are all here. President, these are reliable, trusted allies that you can go to war with. Mpumalanga, are you here? Are you here, Mpumalanga? Anginifika say. Comrade President, the Chief Commander, Fear Focal, Siabangena, the stadium is full, Comrade President. ANC members, supporters of the ANC are ready to listen to you when you outline our 2024 January 8 statement. Our President, we are ready, waiting for you to give us marching orders. Our enemies, your enemies are shivering. Batukile, Comrade President, bayasaba, banavalo, futhi siyababona, bahlehla kancane. Welcome to Mpumalanga, Comrade President, the place of the rising sun. Ngiyabonga, amandla.
And Mandla Ndlovu is here. He has listed all of them, but they are here. Now I'm adding him. Mandla Ndlovu is here. Mamelani, we've structured a program to reflect reality. The President is going to deliver the message. Then we call on our allies to support. Not the other way around. You don't support something you don't know. The President must deliver the message. Then we call on our allies to deliver messages of support. They will know what they support, and I know they will also isolate what they don't support. But we are hoping they will support everything. But they will support a message from the President. So, Comrade President, we are going to call on you to deliver the January 8th statement on behalf of the National Executive Committee. 112 years old. You know, it's an old organization. 112 years. It's not a young organization. Kuba khawuqule wayikhatha short ngolu hlobo kwenze njani and
Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Ingani ngiyabona lingendi lethu sifuna kulala siguquke sesikhohliwe lapho siqhamuka khona ne-African National Congress. Sikhohliwe yini ukuthi wamemeda phisika isaka sema wathi ama-Afrika ahlangane abumbane abayimbumbe abasibe sinye ahlangane aphila impilo yebuntu. Sakhohlwa yini ukuthi lisiko lami nesiko lakho lisho ukuthi singema-Afrika. Sikhohliwe yini ukuthi injongo ye-African National Congress bekukuhlanganisa tiveta se-Afrika ukuthi tiphile tibe mdibi munye. Ake ngithathe nginibuyisele emuva nga-1911 lapho kwamenyethwa khona ngamhla ka-12 ngenyanga yaBhibhidwane kuwo lowo mnyaka wa-1912. Ngiphinde nginibuyisele emuva ngithi khumbulani inkululeko yethu yentanga eqitheka kwengadi. Ake ngithathe ngithi nginibhedele besifazane sebangene ngebunyende ephalamende. Losho kahle kokuthi besifazane nabo bangaphatha omandla. Phambili ngelo makhosikazi, phambili. Phambili nge-ANC, phambili. Wathi uMamongameli angena kulesi sikhundla wathi thuma mina, ayithuka mina. Bajikile namhlanje bathi bayamcakela phasi kenze bathi ukuthi imbewu. Long live the spirit of human dignity, long live. Long live the spirit of human dignity, long live. Lonyaka, ulonyaka, amandla. Amandla. Mayibuye. I-Africa. Hashtag free the Palestine. They are one of us. Remember, they are Africans and we are one nation. We are one family. The family of Mama Africa. Happy birthday to the ANC, African National Congress, and happy 30th anniversary to the democratic system of South Africa. Long live ANC, long live. Lolo haya lenkonzo ngingumthenzelo hlaba usamila imvuthwane lebulala ngaphandle kwesikhali imamba lehlatane lengimabona we loshikutela ngentweni ejahebhini ngoba kukuthi emuva ingana ngibuyela emuva sitoti bunu ngiloqoshwa ngemahobholo kubuye ngimoyitelo nesithando ngisikhathi segwazi emaveni ngintobhole emhlaba we-Afrika ngiwasempumalanga ngingiphumalanga sikoti ngingimabide asabele ngingasiso sangoma ngingungosatane enziwe ngibide ngisabele ngisonzele.
Amandla. Amandla. Viva ANC, viva. Viva ANC, viva. Viva COSATU, viva. Viva SACP, viva. Forward with Sanko, forward. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Roar, young lions, roar. Roar, young lions, roar. Forward with the ANC Veterans League, forward. Forward with the ANC Veterans League, forward. Forward Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans, forward. Amandla. Away, two. All power. Amandla. Comrade Gwede Mantashe, the National Chairperson of the African National Congress. Comrade Paul Mashatile, the Deputy President of the African National Congress. Comrade Secretary General Fikile Mbalula of the African National Congress. Comrade Nomvula Mukonyane, the First Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. Comrade Marupini Ramokgopa, the Second Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. Comrade Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, the Treasurer General of the African National Congress. Members of the African National Congress National Executive Committee, Comrade David Mabuza, the former Deputy President of the ANC and former Deputy President of the Republic. Isitwalandwe, Comrade Sophie de Brain, Comrade Solima Paila, the General Secretary of the SACP, Comrade Zingi Swalosi, the President of COSATU, Comrade Richard Chkungo, the President of Sanko, Comrade Snuki Zikalala, the President of the ANC Veterans League, Umama Utolashe, the President of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Malachi, the President of the ANC Youth League, Hoshi Mukwena, the President of Contralesa, representatives of the various leagues who are here with us, and the leaders and representatives of Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans. Let me be clear. Yona Umkhonto Wesizwe yempela ke le. Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans. Veterans and stalwarts of our movement, members of the diplomatic corps, leaders of the religious sector, traditional leaders, comrades and friends, and the people of our beloved country, South Africa. This year, 2024, marks the 112th anniversary of the formation of the People's Movement, the African National Congress, an organization that led the struggle for freedom and continues to spearhead the tireless national effort to transform our country, South Africa, into a united,
non-racial, non-sexist, and democratic and prosperous society. The birthday of the ANC is an occasion to celebrate, to be happy, to celebrate the distinct legacy, the proud heritage, and the achievements, and the best attributes of the South African nation as a whole. We honor all patriotic South Africans, men and women, urban and rural, young and old, and successive generations of freedom fighters who served our nation selflessly and tirelessly, as well as unconditionally during the different phases of the National Democratic Revolution for our country's liberation and self-determination. We gather here, comrades, in the city of Mbombela, in the beautiful province of Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun, the place that have all the beautiful adornments that Providence has bestowed, not only on this province, but on our country as well. We are depicted as one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and we do find that beauty here in Mpumalanga. You go to the Kruger National Park, you see the beauty of South Africa. You go to God's window, you see the beauty of South Africa. Here in Mpumalanga, Comrade Mandla tells me, as I also greet him, that here in this province you also have 3 rondavels. I've never been there, but he says I should go there one day. Comrades up front, we want to thank our comrades here in Mpumalanga for welcoming all of us and for organizing this beautiful celebration. Let's applaud them. Masibashayeleni izandla. Comrade Mandla, Comrade Chirwa, and our premier here, Comrade Mutsweni. Thank you for welcoming all of us in this warm manner. We have spent a week here going from place to place in Mpumalanga, and we found that the ANC is alive. The ANC yaphila kule province. We thank you for that, and we applaud you for the work that you are doing to keep the ANC alive in this province. We are here to celebrate our past, to chart the future and outline the tasks for the period ahead. We are mindful that we meet in a complex and difficult moment, both globally and here at home. At a global level, the world is facing serious risks, multiple crises. These include rising inequality and poverty in many places in the world, the rising cost of living, the economic instability, as well as trade wars that are taking place, as well as the geopolitical conflicts that continue to destabilize various countries and the livelihoods of many. Given these many challenges, in 2024, we will focus, working together with the Alliance and all sectors of society, to accelerate reconstruction of our economy, to deliver quality basic services, infrastructure, renew the ANC and society, we will also continue with our work to fight crime and corruption, to rejuvenate our nation and contribute towards a better Africa and a better world. All these tasks will gain greater momentum as our country marks 30 years of democracy and freedom. Working together with all our people, we have made significant progress over the last 30 years to put in place the building blocks of a national democratic society as set out in the Freedom Charter. The gains of freedom and the achievements of our young democracy are many. I will just highlight 5 broad categories, and these include the adoption of a transformative constitution that guarantees fundamental freedoms and human rights to all South Africans. Our constitutional architecture, comrades, 30 years old, has continued to hold our country together and to make sure that what we did not have under apartheid rule, we have continued to have in the past 30 years. And it continues to mature, it continues to gain traction, and it's something that we should be proud about, because not many countries can boast of the democratic architecture that we have in South Africa. We are one of the very few countries in the world that has the type of constitution that we have. In fact, many countries look to us as South Africa to emulate, to copy from us, and they often say, we envy you, South Africans, that you have the best constitution in the world. So 30 years later, we can be proud of that, comrades. It's a great achievement for the ANC-led government that we have such a democratic dispensation. The second area is the expansion of basic services and infrastructure to millions of our people who now have access to housing, to better roads and roads that are becoming better, to education where there is now universal access, to health which is improving, to water, to energy and income support through a very progressive social security net. The third one, broad area, is the launching the first phase of economic transformation by introducing laws and policies that have improved workers' rights, that have brought about employment equity, and that have also improved or introduced black economic empowerment, as well as investment in infrastructure, public employment programs, and achieving higher levels of economic growth. The other one is the establishment of a democratic state, having institutions in accordance with our constitution, like the Auditor General, the Independent Electoral Commission, the Public Protector, and a number of others. These are institutions that we really did not have 30 years ago. We now have them. We must cherish them. We must defend them. We must advance them because they support our democracy. The fifth one is how our country has taken its place amongst the community of nations, advancing the African agenda, multilateralism, solidarity, and a peaceful and just world order. So the democratic South Africa of today is very different from the lived experience of apartheid South Africa 30 years ago. There are those who say nothing has changed, but they also know that they are not telling the truth. Bayatanda noma abatandi, the South Africa of today is different and vastly improved from the South Africa of 30 years ago. And that has been brought about by the African National Congress. And that represents the resolve that Nelson Mandela took when he took the oath at the Union Buildings as the first democratically elected president. South Africa today, you like it or you don't like it, even if you hate it, it is there because the African National Congress has brought about real transformation in this country. Please accept it and swallow it, because that is the reality. Over the last 30 years, the ANC-led government has made tremendous strides in empowering the women of our country. It is largely due to the ANC's decision that women must be equally represented in all public institutions, that currently more than 45% of the seats in parliament are held by the women of South Africa. That is what the ANC has led in. In apartheid South Africa, fewer than 3% of the MPs of the apartheid parliament were women. Today, siyaziqhenya ngokuthi 45% and above are women, and we must now ensure that it is 50% and above. Oh mama, mabangene eParlamente bakhokhele lesizwe. In a democratic South Africa, women are no longer second-class citizens. You will remember how oppression was more sharp-ended when it came to the women of our country. They were oppressed because they were black. They were oppressed because they belonged to the working class. And they were oppressed, very seriously oppressed, because they were women. Now we've said the shackles of oppression must be taken off, and women must no longer be second class. Our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our grandmothers are not second class or third class citizens. Sibafuna la bakhokhele futhi babe inkokheli zethu. Over the last 30 years, we've seen another wonderful phenomenon of young people who have benefited from our transformative programs. A very vital part of the work that we have done to build our nation has been to ensure that we empower our young people. Young people themselves have played a vital role in shaping democratic social order that we have today. And I guess they've been inspired by what Otatu Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Bonke, who started the ANC the ANC Youth League, started in the 40s. They are following in those footsteps. Our nation has immensely benefited from the creative energies and the real raw energy of young people. There are campaigns and advocacies on issues such as democracy, education, entrepreneurship, health and economic development, research and innovation have been quite impactful in many, many ways. And we want to applaud the young people of our country because with democracy, we unleashed the energy of young people. The social agency of the youth also finds expression in sport, in arts and cultural industries, and they have excelled in various areas of in the social sector, from the rise of Kwaito music in the early 90s. I could never dance to Kwaito, but today they are also excelling in Amapiano, and they are trying to teach me to dance to Amapiano. And this is what the young people of our country have really excelled in. And we thank them. We thank them because Amapiano today is the global music system of the whole globe. Uthole nabelungu e-Europe bedansela Amapiano. I'm going to teach the national chairperson to dance to Amapiano as well, as soon as I've learned it myself. So we thank them. Our artists have also excelled in a number of other areas. Our country will continue to rely on the youth to reimagine the future and to rejuvenate our nation. The young people of our country are our treasure, and we saw it right from the beginning. As the ANC was formed, the majority of people who formed the ANC were young. When the ANC was made much more of an action-oriented organization, it was young people. And in 76, they are the young people who led and took the struggle to another level. And we thank the young people today who are taking us to another level. And the ANC Youth League is leading also in that process. The ANC-led government is investing enormous effort and resources to stimulate and grow our economy so that it can create jobs. The provision, comrades, at the social level of housing to millions of South Africans is one of the great achievements of our democracy. Through the provision of houses, of subsidies, and service sites, government has managed to provide 4.7 million homes to our people. I know of no country, certainly on our continent and in other continents as well, that has built houses, 4.7 million, and given them to our people mahala, and just say, na indlu, signika yona mahala. Forward with the democratic government, forward. Nearly 2 million women are now the proud owners of state-provided houses. Under apartheid, comrades, all women were denied the right to benefit from state housing, and black women could not own land or houses. All that has changed now. It has changed because the ANC-led government has brought about fundamental change in areas such as housing. 89% of households in our country now have access to water, while 85% of South African homes have access to electricity. There are possibly people who don't want us to mention these things, but we will mention them because these things mean a lot to our people, because this is what has changed our people's lives. Of course, much more still needs to be done. The ANC-led government has done a lot to tackle poverty. Over the last 30 years, our approach has been two-pronged. Firstly, through the social wage, which involves a range of social and economic interventions, including expanding access to quality basic services and also through direct transfers to households in the form of social grants. One of the most direct actions by our government has been the provision of an effective social security net. Mamelanga, in 1999, only 2.5 million people had access to social relief. In other words, they got some social assistance from the government. Today, more than 18 million South Africans in our country receive social relief from the government. The SRD grant introduced during COVID, the 350, has increased the number by another 8 to 10 million, meaning that easily 28 million South Africans get assistance from the ANC-led government to deal with poverty. That is one of the great achievements of our government, to help our people to deal with poverty. Amandla! Amandla! The ANC-led government has dramatically improved access to education, from early childhood right through to post-school education. Nearly every young person aged 15 and 24 years is able to read and to write. And adult literacy now stands at 85%, up from 64% in 1996. Soon, we are going to be receiving the matric pass rate results. And I'm sure that the results of our matriculants are further going to show us the progress that we have made in education, because we've been making steady progress every year, proving that the investment that we are putting in educating our young people is bearing fruit. As it is now, we spend 48 billion rand every year almost to support our young people who are in colleges and universities. And we do this because we are seeking to deal with the future of our country. Under apartheid, the law prevented black people from entering skilled occupations. Today, we have a growing number of black skilled professionals. It was a joy for me just 2 days ago to have the ANC Youth League taking me to a function where I met 2,000 young people who were all expressing their gratitude to what the democratic government has done to give them skills. Some of them are now aeronautical engineers. They told me that they can now build the engines of planes. They repair them. Some of them are civil and construction engineers. Some of them are medical surgeons. Some of them are plumbers. Some of them are deeply trained in various other skills, veterinarian surgeons and scientists. So many interventions have been introduced because the ANC government has been seeking to improve the lives of our people. Our work in promoting universal access to quality health care has made a tremendous impact. This includes free access to health care for pregnant women and children under 5, to reduce infant and maternal mortality, and sustained investment in building a very robust healthcare system, where today we had our parliament adopting the National Health Insurance, which is now, after 30 years of struggle, going to be introduced and signed into law so that there can be free access to health care. So this, comrades, demonstrates the commitment of the ANC government to ensure that we do indeed improve the lives of our people. And this we shall continue to do, whether they like it or not. There has been enormous opposition to the introduction of measures such as the National Health Insurance. I can say that we are going to proceed to ensure that the struggles that have been waged over the many years to achieve this monumental progress will go ahead. So, comrades, we have, as the ANC-led government, sought only to improve the lives of our people. And we have also seen improvements in, amongst other areas, the rollout of comprehensive HIV/AIDS programs, where more than 5.8 million people are on antiretroviral treatment, the biggest in the world, where we are keeping our people alive and dealing with a disease that used to be a killer disease in the past. The ANC-led government is restoring life to our people. We have also seen how the incidence of tuberculosis, TB, is continuing to come down. And this is through the efforts of the ANC-led government. As part, comrades, of all this, the ANC-led government will continue, yes, to invest in improving the lives of our people. Despite persistent challenges, the South African economy, which has been rather weak over quite a number of years and has not grown at the level that we have always wanted. However, that economy has expanded over the past 30 years. The number of South Africans who are now in employment have increased from 8 million. When we got into office, there were only 8 million South Africans who were in formal employment. Namhlanje, we have 16.7 million South Africans who are now employed. And this happens because of the management of the economy by the ANC-led government. We have put in place policies and laws that have enabled our economy to expand. For instance, just in the agricultural sector, we've seen our agricultural sector almost doubling in value, and we now have to concentrate on getting more and more black people to become key players in the agricultural sector of our economy. But we also need to deal with the issue of dispossession of land, because that is where the real challenge continues to be. And our policies are aimed at achieving precisely that. When it comes to the condition of workers, workers today in South Africa have much better working conditions than they did in 1994. Since 1994, we have introduced basic conditions of employment. We have also introduced the minimum wage. And this is where COSATU, our ally, was most effective to make sure that 6 million workers who were earning less than 3,500 Rand a month have their salaries increased on an ongoing basis. We now have a national minimum wage, which is going to support those 6 million and more workers. So we thank COSATU. Forward with COSATU, forward. Forward with the workers, forward. And we continue, comrades, to be committed to collective bargaining and to also improve the rights of workers and also trade unions. We want to see our trade unions becoming stronger and stronger. And when it comes to collective bargaining, we want the collective bargaining system, yes, to remain strong. And because there's always competition between workers and employers, there will always be conflicts, there'll always be tensions, and we say we have managed to address those contradictions, and we will continue to do so. Now, comrades, we must continue to celebrate these achievements and make sure that the gains of freedom that were realized through our progressive social policies are defended and advanced further in the decade ahead. The ANC has remained loyal to the pursuit of the national democratic revolution and also advancing Africa's renaissance. There have been missteps, because in life, nothing is ever perfect. You make mistakes, you make missteps, you stumble, but that is the nature of life. The important thing is whether we are moving forward. And we, as the African National Congress, can testify to the fact that we've continued to move forward. We've continued to see improvement. The lives of our people have been improving since 1994. We have not been stuck in one place. We've always moved forward. At times, going one step back, but always moving forward by 3 steps. And that is how we have prosecuted our national democratic revolution. And because we are dealing with complex transformation processes, but all our programs and initiatives and actions, comrades, have been aimed at transforming South Africa to eradicate the stubborn legacy of apartheid, of colonialism, and yes, of patriarchy as well. And we have been making progress, and we will continue making progress. Bayathanda noma bathandi, thina siyaqhuba siyaphambili. They can stand on the wayside, baqhube bathi nywe 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 nywe, thina siyaqhuba siya phambili, because we are the African National Congress. We shall, comrades, never betray the vision that was set out and espoused by our forebears in the Freedom Charter. Go Freedom Charter, comrades, asijiki. Of March, and we are going to remain committed until, as they said, these ideals that are set out in the Freedom Charter are achieved, and we shall work together side by side until we have attained those ideals. Now, comrades, the fundamental question we have to ask ourselves on the 30th anniversary of our freedom, we have to ask ourselves whether South Africa's transformation from divided past may be halted, whether it will even be reversed, or whether it will be diverted, or whether the democratic renewal and national rejuvenation will, in the end, gain impetus. Those are the key questions that the National Executive Committee asked itself as it issued this statement that I am delivering. We know that there are social and political forces that are working very hard to undermine the gains of our freedom that we've made over 3 decades. They want to stop the people's march to a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous country. The anti-transformation forces are converging in pacts. They are forming various pacts. Busbies are all packed this, packed that, and so forth. While at the same time, they are seeking to fragment the forces for change through splinter groups and smaller parties that want to contest the ANC. Another anti-transformation tactic is to ensure that the ANC is locked up in internal struggles that will weaken the ANC and destroy it from within. They actively encourage rebel breakaway groupings to erode the support base of the ANC. Often these, comrades, start as factional groupings, factional conflicts within our movement. But when the movement pushes ahead with a program of renewal, they then start changing into opposition parties that are as opposed to the ANC as the right-wing opponents of transformation. In fact, they even become worse than those right-wing opposition parties because they come through as real snakes, snakes that are ready to bite our people. Some of these parties masquerade as more radical than the ANC, but their revolutionary sounding slogans and rhetoric cannot hide the reality that they have common cause with the forces opposing transformation. The shared goal of all these forces is to deprive the ANC of the ability to use state power to continue with the process of change and transformation. The ANC-led alliance and the broad progressive movement remains the only reliable force that is capable and that has a tradition of uniting and working with various social forces to advance the National Democratic Agenda. Unique among political formations in South Africa, the ANC has been able to work with workers, to work with women formations, youth progressive organizations and professionals, intellectuals, business people, middle strata, faith-based organizations, cultural activists, traditional leaders, and various community-based and non-governmental organizations to achieve social and economic change. So, comrades, the onslaught against transformation should make us more determined this year to succeed in building a better life for all and to be more deliberate and resolute in renewing the ANC. So mina ke ngithi asibasabi mabeze ngobuningi ngoba asibasabi futhi siyabafuna and sizobangena ngoba asisabi lutho futhi asinawo umona sithi wozani nizosithola kahle. Now, comrades, with all this, as they are plotting and ganging against this people's movement that has brought so much transformation to the lives of our people, what then should be our tasks? The National Executive Committee has decided that the tasks announced in 2023 in the January 8th statement should remain the focus of our movement in 2024. Given that our country will hold the 7th national and provincial elections this year, our added overarching priority is to work for a decisive ANC election victory so that it may obtain a clear mandate. Comrades, we are working and going to work for a clear victory. When they look at us, but you know, iphelile ANC. When they look at us, but we are going to get less than 50%. Abanye bathi we are even going to get 30%. Logo kukhulunywa ngabantu abangasazi, abangayazi ANC. ANC kaLuthuli, ANC kaMandela, ANC aka John Langalibalele Dube, sithi wozani nizosithola kahle. Futhi siyanfuna ukuthi siye ekhethweni ukuthi we must be able to separate those who are able to govern this country and those who are not. Because bona babona ngathi hayi kulula, they'll be able to govern this country. Oh, mame. Wozani nizosithola kahle. Now, comrades, the ANC is ready to launch a formidable campaign that will engage the citizens of our country in every sector of society to seek a decisive mandate from our people who continue to love the ANC. As I go through the length and the breadth of the country, whether in the rural areas, nor in the townships, all I ever meet are the people who say we love the African National Congress. We want you to continue, despite all the challenges that you face, to continue with the work that you are doing. So the ANC role in working with our people to liberate South Africa from the yoke of apartheid and to vastly improve the lives of millions over the last 30 years cannot be matched by any other party. No party, comrades, has both the clear vision for a better and more equal society and the capability to achieve it than the African National Congress. And uzababona uma bekhipha ama-manifesto wabo, they will wait first to copy from the ANC manifesto. Bayakopa. Bazaba bakhuluma lento eku-manifesto ye-ANC. And when they come with their own manifestos, it's half-baked ideas that will never work for the people of our country. So the ANC remains the party of choice for all who seek to build a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and democratic and prosperous South Africa. The frustrating experience that we have had with dysfunctional coalition governments has shown that these coalitions, comrades, these coalitions, they really don't work for our people, but they work for those political deal makers and those who are intent on advancing their own interests. These coalitions have led to service delivery weaknesses where development suffers and in a number of cases grinds to a halt. Replicating this bitter experience of total chaos, instability and dysfunctionality at a national and provincial level will be a total disaster for our country. So, comrades, this is where we don't want to go. Because if you have a coalition, you are just bubble gum. You are patching izinto ezingakwazi ukuthi zipetcheke. So all the ANC needs is an outright victory. So that is why we must go all out and work for an outright victory. And we must embark on a campaign led by the ANC, working with our alliance that will ensure that we win outright. So we call on our members and supporters to go all out, comrades, to campaign vigorously for an outright victory. And I will also be out there together with members of the National Executive Committee. We will be out there in your local areas, in your provinces, in the rural areas, in the streets of our townships. We will work with you to attain this victory. So, comrades, we will be launching our election manifesto next month, where we will set out a clear vision and a program for taking our country forward. Today, in this January 8th statement, we just set out the key priorities, the real program that we are going to implement or put out, and the clear vision of where we want our country to go in the next 5 years will be set out in the manifesto which we will be launching next month. The other important task is that we should intensify the renewal of the African National Congress. Our 53rd conference defined the principal objective of renewal. The 55th conference also said that renewal must include the renewal of the alliance partners as well, and the broad progressive movement. Central to our renewal project is building the capacity of the ANC to lead meaningful social and economic transformation. And the ANC should also be able to lead the process of economic transformation and restructuring, making sure that the ownership, the management and the control of our economy, as well as the distribution of economic opportunities, continues to retain a racial, gender, and geographic concentration. So the NEC has directed that the newly established Renewal Commission should develop a very well-developed program of renewal for action in 2024. And there are 5 key elements of our renewal program. And I will not go into details over them. Firstly, the renewal program should be about the quality of an organization that we are, as well as the caliber of its membership and the caliber of its cadership and the caliber of its leadership. It should also be about ensuring that we call upon the various components of our movement, as in the ANC Women's League, the Youth League, the ANC Veterans League, Umkhonto weSizwe Liberation War Veterans, and SANCO, who we are very pleased held successful national conferences last year to also make a meaningful contribution to the life of the African National Congress in a way that will affect, yes, the people of our country, abahlali, yes, the women of our country, and yes, the young people of our country. And we commit ourselves to work with our alliance partners, the South African Communist Party, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, the South African National Civic Organization, to ensure that we have a strategic repositioning of our alliance. And of course, this repositioning must involve how we reconfigure the way we work and how we are able to embark on programs that are not only going to result in an outright victory for the ANC, but also are going to speed up the transformation process. And we look forward to the contribution of a united and renewed civic organization. The second element is the renewal that deals with the member of the ANC, what type of member we should have. And we call upon ANC structures to mobilize all South Africans to combat the demons of racism, tribalism, ethnic chauvinism, and related intolerances in our country and in our organization. This is important to also improve the quality of the membership that we have. Our members must be underpinned by a high sense of discipline, ideologically, intellectually, as well as organizationally and technically. The third element is about, yes, ensuring that there is high discipline in our organization. There must be no compromise of the fundamental matters of organizational discipline and integrity. The fourth one deals with the quality of our leaders and public representatives. The NEC has appointed the ANC Electoral Committee and adopted stringent and transparent rules and guidelines for the election of leaders and selection of candidates and public representatives. The reconstruction of our economy is one of those key elements that we need to focus on to create a prosperous society where people are free from poverty and where the ANC government does tremendous work building on the last 30 years. The ANC remains committed comrades, to advancing all these areas to ensure that the economy grows, there's land redistribution, and what the ANC government has done to transform our economy in the last 30 years is something that we need to continue with. We know that much still needs to be done, but we will continue with the work to ensure that social and economic advancement of women is deepened and that young people are given the opportunities that they have. And we call, particularly in the private sector, we call on the private sector to ensure that women are empowered economically and that young people are also given an opportunity. And that, for instance, when young people seek jobs, the issue of experience should not be a barrier. We should employ young people to give them the experience, not ask for experience before we employ them. That is fundamentally important, because otherwise, where will they get the experience when we don't employ them so that they can get the experience? So we want the issue of experience to fall away. Open the doors to employment so that young people can get jobs. And yes, of course, the issue of jobs should also go beyond those who are 35 years and older, because they too must never feel that they are being neglected. They too must get jobs. So as we focus on young people, we must also focus on making sure that older people as well, 35 and above, nabantu abanjengami, bakwazi ukuyithola imisebenzi nabo. Comrades, many efforts have been made, yes, to open opportunities for young people and for women. The statement of the NEC as a whole, when you go through it, you'll be able to see the various efforts and interventions. And many of those will be clearly outlined in our manifesto. So we don't have the time now to go through all that. So there is still much that we are going to be able to do. Our country is blessed with rich mineral resources. This message was delivered to me and other leaders very clearly by the Youth League. They were saying, President, we are tired of being a country that exports all our mineral resources, be it iron ore, be it platinum, be it all these chrome and copper and all that, without beneficiating them. And they have said, please let us beneficiate our minerals. Let us, rather than export rock, soil, and stones, let us export finished goods so that we create factories here, so that we industrialize our economy. And I agree with the Youth League. The Youth League is coming up forward with really good ideas, and I support them and I agree with them, and that is the way we are now going forward. They say we are tired of exporting raw materials. Let's export finished goods so that other people can buy our finished goods. That is wonderful. So, comrades, we will proceed with that. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which was adopted by the African Union, gives us a great opportunity. It is essentially a game changer for the industrialization and the development of our own country and of the continent. So by promoting industrialization, and we will be coming up with an industrial policy that is going to show the way of how we want to re-industrialize our economy so that the factories that have now gone to sleep and dead, we can revive them. We can inject more activity in our manufacturing sector so that we make finished goods that we can sell to other countries. Now, we will then also need to address a number of other challenges. Electricity is one of our biggest challenges, which we are addressing. And in our January 8 statement last year, we focus on this. We have made progress, and we continue to make progress in that regard, notwithstanding the fact that now and again we continue having persistent load shedding, which we're not running away from, but we have become more transparent. We have become more forward in explaining to the nation what we are doing. One of the things we have to do, of course, is to increase the transmission capacity. And it is on this note that the whole nation must be grateful to Mpumalanga. You as Mpumalanga, you are the ones who generate our electricity. Siyanbonga, because our electricity comes from here in Mpumalanga. So we thank you, we applaud you. It's something wonderful that you do for our nation. Uguti, the electricity that lights up the lights in Cape Town, in the Eastern Cape, in the Northern Cape, in KZN, in the Free State, Gauteng, Northwest, all comes from here in Mpumalanga. It's something that we are grateful for. So, sintulela igogo nina nonke base Mpumalanga sethi siyabonga because you make a national contribution. Yes, comrades, one of the important tasks and priorities is to improve, yes, our basic services. And in this regard, we need to make sure that the services that are delivered to our people are improved. And in this regard, yes, we must admit there have been weaknesses, there have been reversals for a number of reasons. Yes, our people have been suffering with the spillage of sewage in their streets. Some of the sewage has been getting into our people's houses, and sometimes they have not had the water that they deserve. Sometimes they have not had waste removal. The cities of our towns of our country are filthy. Many of our municipalities don't function in the way that they should. And the National Executive Committee has identified this as an area of great priority so that we can ensure that we seek real improvement. And through monitoring and evaluating all this, we are going to ensure that there is intervention. But more importantly, we are now going to tighten the measures for accountability so that those who do not do the work that they should do, there should be accountability and consequence management. Ukuthi lento yokuthi uma abantu bemosha bahlale benjalo singayenzi lutho izawuphela. There must be consequence management. We must make sure that people do own up to some of those things. So service delivery has been identified as a key issue. So in the end, comrades, we want every branch of the African National Congress to be active, to be actively oriented, to be a branch that is alive, to have structures, substructures that are going to deal with specific issues, with schooling, with gender-based violence. Yes, that are also going to deal with the protection of our infrastructure. We want every public servant in the spirit of Batupili to truly commit themselves. So therefore, we want all our public servants to commit and to be able to work more intensively for our people. So we must defend and advance our freedoms and successfully build a cohesive nation this year. And we must make sure that we deal with this issue of gender-based violence and promote the family as a basic unit of society. ANC branches must work with community-based organizations to make sure that we do not turn a blind eye to gender-based violence. All ANC structures must emulate the ANC Women's League in their excellent campaign to ensure that culprits of femicide, of child abuse, and rape are arrested, they are denied bail, and face the full might of the law. Kuleyo ndawo, I want to applaud the ANC Women's League, and all the ANC Women's League members are so well adorned. Bahle futhi, and we as Bonela nawe, ukuthi they are beautiful. I want to thank them for taking up the issue of gender-based violence and ensuring and encouraging the state to take it up as a serious campaign, working, of course, with many other organizations. So Sydney Women's League, siyantulela imwazi, siyanbonga for taking up this campaign. Thank you very much indeed. So comrades, we call on all our structures to make sure that we take up these campaigns, and as part of a caring organization that respects the fundamental rights of all people, ANC members should always be in the forefront, advocating for the rights of persons with disability, persons with albinism, the LGBTQI+ community, and other groups subjected to prejudice and discrimination. And we want to call on our local government as well as provincial governments and local government. We must make sure that we open employment opportunities of people with disabilities. They must not be left to stay at home or wherever without getting jobs. Masibavuleleni indawo zokusebenza kuri na bona va kota ku kuma mintirho, va tirha hikuva lava ku tirha na bona. Ai va pfumeleni ku ri va nghena mintirhweni. Loko ni karhi ni famba ndhawini to tala, loko ni hlangana na vona, ni twa lava vanhu va disabled va ni byela ku ri a yi kumi mintirho ka local government, a va yi pfuleli ti-space ta ku ri hi tirha. So hi ri a yi pfuleni ku ri vanhu lava na vona va kota ku kuma mintirho va fana na van'wani vanhu. We must not relegate them to the back. Want to call on ANC branches to campaign to make sure that our communities pay for services that they use and support programs to introduce pay as you go. Now, this is an important area, comrades, because quite often we are finding that our municipalities do not have all the resources they do not have the money that should go to improving our services. It's often quite because our people, many of our people, not all, a number of our people don't pay for services. The National Executive Committee says that we now need to get our branches to encourage our people to pay so that there can be an improvement of services. The other area that's a priority is fighting crime and corruption. Crime undermines and erodes the gains of freedom and shared prosperity. And crime and corruption are actually one of the biggest problems that our people are facing. And we say we as ANC branches must join the fight against criminality. And of course, we welcome the steps that have been taken by government, where we have already employed 20,000 more police. And next year we'll add another 10,000 to increase the number of police so that we can have more police on the streets. And also we want to see improvement in the capacity of the NPA and our courts and ensure that the perpetrators of criminality are brought to justice. And we also welcome the setting up of special units and also the recent work of Chanela to target illegal mining and other priority crimes. We want, comrades, all our branches to be involved in community policing forums. This is fundamentally important if we are going to succeed to defeat crime, because where the community policing forums are active, we found that the levels of crime tend to go down. And therefore, we call on our branches that we must get involved in community policing forums. And it is by doing so that we will be able to reduce the incidence of criminality. And comrades, we want to also focus more on cross-border security issues, such as human trafficking, drug smuggling, and illicit trade. We have continued with the initiatives of border security, and we are now enforcing strict immigration law because we want to deal and stop those who would like to come to our country undocumented, those who do not have papers, those who are illegal immigrants. The Border Management Agency, working with law enforcement agencies, have seen phenomenal progress. Just in the few weeks where they've been set up, after being set up, they have stopped thousands and thousands of people who were just walking across our border without any documentation. So the setting up of the Border Management Authority was one of the most important decisions. Corruption in government, but corruption in business and society is another area of attention that we have decided to focus on, because corruption, whether in government, in business, in society, detracts from government's ability to improve the conditions of living of our people. And in fact, corruption is counter-revolutionary, and we need to deal with it, and we are going to be taking further steps to ensure that we strengthen our resolve in dealing with corruption. The ANC, therefore, welcomes the various steps that deal with anti-corruption that are being taken. Today, progressive people around the world stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine. And I'm very pleased that here, Comrade Mandandlov, in this stadium, we see placards and banners that deal with freeing Palestine, making sure that there's a ceasefire and ending the occupation. We condemn in the strongest terms the appalling slaughter and genocide of the people of Palestine that is being perpetrated in Gaza and the West Bank. The ANC has always stood side by side with the people of Palestine in their struggle for self-determination, because like we before 1994, they stood with us. Many people around the world stood with us, and the people of Palestine faced the brutal enemy as well as we did. Nelson Mandela famously declared that our own freedom as South Africans is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians. And comrades, that remains true even today. It is for that reason that South Africa took the unprecedented step to go and lodge a case at the International Court of Justice to go and say that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza and on the West Bank, and to urge the International Court to take a judgment that will stop that genocide. We have a responsibility, like other countries felt they had a responsibility to end apartheid. We also have a responsibility to end the genocide that is taking place. And comrades, it has been a real moment of great pride to see our legal team arguing South Africa's case at the International Court of Justice, and led by a son of this province, Comrade Ronald Lamola, from this very province. He is the one who led our case, and we say to Mpumalanga, thank you for producing a young man like Ronald, who has gone to lead us at the International Court. So comrades, we say our support for the Palestinians will continue. We also, comrades, we reiterate our support for other people around the world, and we solidly support the peoples of Cuba in their own struggle as they continue to suffer under the blockade that has been imposed on their country. We also support the struggles of the people of Western Sahara. So comrades, there have been various global crises where South Africa has been participating, and we participated with our sister African countries in seeking to bring about peace in the Ukraine and Russia conflict. And we will continue to play an active role in Africa's renewal and development. We are a trusted partner in conflict resolution, and we will continue to do so. And working together with other national liberation movements and progressive parties on the continent, we will continue making a contribution to make sure that there is development on our continent. And we've also participated at the global level on issues such as climate change. Recently, we were represented by our comrades Barbara Creasy, Comrade Mantashe, also represented us at COP28, and a number of other comrades, where we were able to make contributions on the effects of climate change. As we see, climate change continues to have a devastating impact on our own country. Our people in KZN right now, their lives are being devastated by continuous floods. Every year, the province of KZN, Eastern Cape, experiences devastating floods. The Free State and Northwest have devastating fires, and also part of the Western Cape. So these are issues of climate change that we are having to contend with, and it is good that at this time we as South Africa are playing an important role. So comrades, as I conclude, the achievement of freedom and democratic gains that have been made should neither be taken for granted or diminished, because there is no easy walk to freedom, and freedom that we have achieved was not free, because millions of our people suffered. They struggled and sacrificed immensely so that our country can achieve the freedom that we have attained. Now it is for this reason that today we echo the words of Nelson Mandela, the founding president of our democracy, who boldly pronounced during his inauguration and said, "Let freedom reign. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement." What we have done and what we are going to be celebrating when we are fully 30 years as a democracy is to celebrate this glorious human achievement that Utatu Nelson Mandela spoke about. Was deepening democracy, fast-tracking fundamental socio-economic transformation is the best way to defend and advance our freedom. And accordingly, the National Executive Committee has decided that we dedicate the 112th anniversary of the ANC to the defense and advancement of the gains of freedom and to the intensification of the struggle for a better life for all. We therefore declare 2024 to be the year of united action to defend our freedom and advance a better life for all. Because with this, we are moving forward to a decisive victory. And this is the theme that the National Executive Committee has decided should be the theme for 2024. Comrades, this is the rallying call for all of us to go forward, to go and win the 2024 national and provincial elections. We reflect on our past, but we then say we want to defend the advances and the gains. And that is why our theme is that we now must advance further to improve our people's lives by giving them a better life. And we can only do so by moving forward to a decisive victory. So it is a call for my some. It's call for my some. Niyabasabana. Angniso ma comrades. Atiko ni pa. Labakuta mitwa kate. Niyabasabana. Niyabasabana. Allow Makama City forward to victory, forward. Forward to victory in the elections, forward. Mabese sizobabonisa amandla. Amandla. Ngiyabonga.
Awuvume moya wami, awuvume moya wami, moya wami, awuvume moya wami, awuvume moya wami.
a.m. on R71 near Mahubas Kloof, a bus carrying passengers to this rally capsized and their fatalities registered. So, sicela ukuba, in respect of those comrades, let's observe a moment of silence once more. Where you are, stand, observe a moment of silence for those comrades. Amanda, comrades, we're now getting into messages of support. We must all pay attention. We must all pay attention. We're going to first the first message. But before I do that, let's acknowledge liberation movements that has come to honor this event. MPLR from Angola is here. Frelimo from Mozambique is here. Swapo from Namibia is here. ZANU PF from Zimbabwe is here. From Botswana, we have two parties that are here. Both the PDP and the BNF are here. from Western Sahara, the Sahara Arab Republic is here. A Cuban solidarity movement is here. Now, comrades, it's a nice song. Comrades, we know it's a nice song, but please hold. Comrades, it's a nice song. I love it, but let's receive messages of support. Comrades, let's receive messages of support. Stop that song. Sometimes in celebrating, you may disrupt the meeting unintended. Now, we're going to ask Maulana Abdullah Bam from the Friends of Palestine to deliver a message of support. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I'll just give it 2-3 minutes. It won't be long. Comrades, friends, elders, brothers, mothers, and sisters, I greet you with a universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and blessings of Almighty be upon you. We first thank the Almighty, and we ask Him and we pray to Him to protect South Africa, the people of South Africa, to grant us success, to grant us prosperity, and to guide the leaders towards that which is good for the country. After acknowledging the Almighty, I acknowledge the Honorable President of South Africa, the Honorable Ministers, and the NEC and all protocols observed. Today, we are part of South Africa, and we are proud for the achievements of South Africa in taking Israel to the International Court of Justice. And we say, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! This action of South Africa is an action of moral courage. It's an action that has given a ray of hope for people who have become frustrated by seeing the killings of innocent women and children. This action of South Africa has brought about worldwide support from people of conscience. It has forced Israel to come onto the world stage to defend itself, something which it did not like to do up till now. And no matter what happens from here, whether this application succeeds or not, because of politics, because the evidence is quite clear, as the President spoke glowingly about the legal team who had proven beyond doubt the genocide carried out by Israel. Irrespective of what happens from here, South Africa has achieved the respect of the entire world. And we, from behalf of the Palestinian Solidarity Organization and the morally upright people of the world, we would like to applaud the ruling party, the South African government, for this. We applaud you, and we hope you will continue with this. And many people ask, why do we do it? Because we do it because we, as South Africans, went through the same thing. We went through colonization. We went through oppression. we went through apartheid. And what is happening in Israel is apartheid as cited by none other than the icons of this country, by the heroes of this country, by Nelson Mandela Madiba, who said, the freedom of South Africa is incomplete until Palestine is free. Free, free Palestine. And Desmond Tutu, who said, when I see the Palestinians at the checkpoints, it reminds me of the people of South Africa who had to suffer at the hands of the apartheid police. So we do it because it's our moral responsibility. We went through the same thing, and we will assist those who are going through the same thing. And lastly, I will just say one small thing. The way we had moral courage to address this international issue, I pray that we also have the moral courage to address our internal challenges, the challenges of unemployment, youth opportunity, respect and dignity for women, and service delivery, and bring in justice and respect and dignity to every South African. Therefore, in conclusion, we, on behalf of the Palestinian solidarity movements, we would like to give a gift. And this is a gift of a painting done by a Muslim sister by the name of Zahra Patel. And she has asked us to give it to the President, which is a most beautiful gift, which brings about the flags of Palestine and South Africa. And we are presenting this to the President of the country on behalf of morally conscious people of the world. Thank you so much. Free, free Palestine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your kind words.
Shukran, Mullah. Thank you very much. That was the message from the Friends of Palestine. I think